Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai, and welcome to Jagadambe Reads the Holy Books of India, Ramayana 186. As you may remember, Maricha was telling Ravana, don't mess with Rama. He didn't really believe him, but he valued the words of Maricha and considered them to be those of a wise old man. He therefore went back to his palace and decided to give up any thought of Sita. 14. Shurpanakha and her tale of woe. Shurpanakha was desperate. Her brothers were all killed and their army destroyed. The Janasthana was now empty of her kinsmen, and she was frightened of the valor of Rama. She decided to go to Lanka and tell Ravana about the entire happenings in Janasthana. When she went to Lanka, her brother, Ravana, was in the council hall, and she went there. Ravana was glowing like Indra in the midst of the Devas. His throne was made of gold and silver, and there were pearls, corals, and gems which gleamed from it. Ravana was like fire which burned on a golden shrine. Invincible by all the Devas and Danavas, this Ravana was a warrior who was extremely noble-looking. His chest was scarred because once the elephant Airavata, Indra's mount, had gored him. Ravana also bore the signs of Indra's Vajra, having scorched his immense chest. His broad chest was beautiful, and there was something exceedingly magnificent about this great warrior. Dark and handsome, he was the favorite of Lord Mahadev. He was the great-grandson of Brahma. Ravana was a hater of the Devas, and he was unrighteous. He did not hesitate to take the wives of others if he so desired. He did not hesitate to disturb the yagnas performed by the rishis and the ascetics in the forests. Ravana was proficient in the use of all weapons. He knew the astras and their incantations. Once he had gone down to the netherworld and fought with Vasuki, the king of the serpents. He had defeated Kubera, his half-brother, in a fight, and had captured for himself the Vimana by name Pushpaka, which could fly in the air. He played havoc in Kubera's pleasure garden by name Chaitra, and in Indra's garden, Nandana. He had quelled all the Devas, and they were considered by him to be his vessels. He had performed a severe tapas, and he had pleased Brahma. He had obtained boons from him. He had asked for immunity from death at the hands of Devas, Danavas, Gandharvas, Pishachas, and every living being he could think of. He had forgotten to include the names of men and monkeys, since they were too insignificant and negligible to be considered, even as he did not think of them. He had once lifted the Mount Kailasa, and he had pleased Lord Mahadev with his singing of the Sama, with the Veena as an accompaniment. In thinking of the unrighteousness of Ravana, one should not forget the greatness of this personage. He was great. There was no doubt about it. There was no one equal to him in beauty, in prowess, in valor, in generosity, in the skill in fine arts, in his power to capture the minds of women, in his learning, in his mastery of the sacred lore. He was a personage in whose presence the Devas were all made to pale in insignificance. There was no one like Ravana. Shurpanakha stood for a long moment looking at the heap of glory that was Ravana. She knew that the son of Vishvavas, this great hero, would avenge the insult which had been rankling in her bosom, like a thorn which could not be removed. She went near him and began to talk. For a moment, Ravana could not recognize her. Her face was disfigured, and her voice was also sounding different. She said, "A king indeed! You are ever lost in the pleasures of the harem, and you do not think of anything else. You do what you please, and you have no thoughts for others. You have forgotten what is happening outside in the world, drunk as you are with your power." Sadhguru Nath Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you for coming. I hope you come again.